Something's boiling inside the Cleveland Browns locker room and it's about to explode. Cam Newton didn't just speak his mind, he lit a fire under the entire Browns organization. In a fiery rant that's now gone viral, Cam compared Kevin Stefanski's handling of the quarterback situation to a ticking time bomb. And he's not wrong. Tensions are rising fast as players grow frustrated with the team's lack of direction. And at the center of it all is quarterback Gabriel. Insiders say the Browns locker room has hit its breaking point. Players like David Njoku, Jerry Jeudy, and Cedric Tillman are reportedly losing patience, not with the losses, but with the coach's refusal to make a change. Cam Newton said it best, "Start him now. Enough is enough." And the him he's talking about? Shedeur Sanders. This isn't just another football debate. It's becoming a full-blown crisis. Stefanski's job may be on the line, and his team's unity is crumbling in front of everyone. Even former Browns quarterback Johnny Manziel is calling out the organization, demanding that Shedeur Sanders take the reins immediately. So the question is no longer if a change is coming, it's when. Because as Cam Newton warned, the clock is ticking. And in Cleveland, that sound might just be the countdown to chaos. When Cam Newton speaks, the football world listens. And this time, his words cut deep. In a fiery outburst that's now echoing through Cleveland, Newton didn't just criticize the Browns. He called out the entire leadership structure. His message was simple. The clock is ticking. Cam looked straight into the camera and said what Browns fans have been thinking for weeks. Start him now. Enough is enough. That wasn't just passion, it was a warning. He described the Browns locker room as a ticking time bomb, suggesting that Kevin Stefanski's refusal to move away from Gabriel could be the spark that sets it all off. Newton didn't mince words. He said Stefanski is on borrowed time, and if he doesn't make the right call soon, the explosion won't just end games, it'll end careers. Cam's comments come after yet another frustrating loss, a game where Gabriel once again looked lost under pressure. Misreads, underthrown balls, and costly turnovers painted a painful picture. Meanwhile, the locker room's patience is evaporating. If you don't make a move, he warned, that clock doesn't just tick, it explodes. Cam's outburst has become a rallying cry, echoing across social media and NFL circles. Everyone's asking the same question now. How long before Kevin Stefanski finally listens? Because if Newton's right, the Browns aren't just fighting for wins anymore. They're fighting to keep their team from imploding. Behind the scenes, things in Cleveland are getting ugly. What once looked like a focused locker room is now fractured, split between those still trying to trust Kevin Stefanski's vision and those who've already lost faith. Reports from insiders paint a clear picture. Frustration, silence, and side-eye glances have replaced the energy that once fueled this team. Players like David Njoku, Jerry Jeudy, and Cedric Tillman, names that were supposed to headline an explosive offense, are now quietly voicing their discontent. They're running routes, fighting for separation. But for what? The deep passes never come. The creativity they were promised never shows. And at the center of that frustration sits one name, Gabriel. Multiple players have reportedly said the same thing. Gabriel's style limits the offense. He checks down too quickly, rarely pushes the ball downfield, and struggles to throw outside the numbers. That might work for a conservative scheme, but this locker room is filled with playmakers who thrive on risk, speed, and big plays. To them, Gabriel's safe football is just another way of saying wasted potential. Even the defensive stars, like Myles Garrett, are feeling the strain. Garrett's on record saying he's tired of giving his all just to see the offense stall week after week. That kind of frustration is contagious, and it's spreading fast. Insiders claim that what used to be small whispers in the locker room are now turning into full-blown conversations. Players are questioning decisions, questioning leadership, and wondering if the coach even hears them. The energy's shifting. You can feel it. There's tension in the air before practice, a cold silence after games, and growing belief that this team is being held back by loyalty to a quarterback who hasn't earned it. And that's what makes this dangerous. Once a coach loses the room, it's nearly impossible to get it back. The Browns are on the edge of that reality. And if Kevin Stefanski doesn't act soon, the locker room won't just crack. It'll collapse completely. When Myles Garrett speaks, people listen. But this time, it wasn't just about football. It was raw emotion. The Browns' brutal loss to the Patriots. Garrett didn't sugarcoat anything. He stepped up to the mic, looked reporters dead in the eye, and unleashed the kind of frustration that's been building for weeks. "I'm frustrated," he said flatly. "I want to win. I don't care how bad it looks or how much time is left. I just want to fight. Every second, every down." You could hear the exhaustion in his voice. This wasn't a player venting after one bad game. It was a leader who's had enough. Garrett has been a force of nature this season, racking up sacks, forcing turnovers, doing everything humanly possible to keep Cleveland's defense alive. But even Superman can only do so much when the offense refuses to show up. His 5 sacks against the Patriots should have been enough to inspire a win. Instead, they were wasted by yet another game of missed throws and stalled drives. The disconnect between Garrett's dominance and Dillon Gabriel's inconsistency couldn't be more glaring. And Garrett knows it. Insiders say this was the breaking point, the moment Garrett's frustration became impossible to ignore. Defensive efforts go to waste because the offense can't move the chains. What's worse, Garrett's comments didn't just hit the fans, they sent shockwaves through the organization. Even those close to Kevin Stefanski admitted privately that when your team's biggest star starts questioning direction, it's a sign of deeper trouble. Garrett didn't call anyone out by name, but he didn't have to. Everyone knew who he meant. His message was clear. The Browns don't have a football problem. They have a leadership problem. And for a player who's bled for this team, that's as real as it gets. Garrett's patience is gone. The locker room's patience is gone. The question now, is Kevin Stefanski next? When former players start calling out the Browns, that's one thing. But when analysts and insiders, the people who usually play it safe, start turning on you, that's when you know it's serious. Over the past week, multiple NFL insiders have echoed what fans and players have been saying for months. Kevin Stefanski's stubbornness is costing Cleveland games. ESPN analysts like Dan Orlovsky and Shannon Sharpe didn't hold back. Orlovsky questioned Stefanski's refusal to adapt, while Sharpe went straight for the jugular, saying, "At some point, loyalty to failure becomes failure itself." Those words hit hard because they're true. The stats speak for themselves. The Browns' offense ranks near the bottom in almost every major category. And yet Stefanski insists on doubling down with Dillon Gabriel, a quarterback who looks increasingly lost under pressure. Insiders close to the team say Stefanski is terrified of being seen as panicking or giving up on Gabriel too early. But that fear may be the very thing that buries his season and his career. Meanwhile, fans and media alike are zeroing in on one name, Shedeur Sanders. Analysts describe him as poised, composed, and built for the moment. Even former NFL executives have started comparing his mental toughness to that of early career Russell Wilson. Calm, disciplined, and unshaken by chaos. Inside the Browns facility, the tone has shifted. Beat reporters claim the energy during practice feels tense but expectant, as if everyone knows a change is coming. They're just waiting for someone to pull the trigger. To make things worse, the media firestorm keeps fueling locker room division. Players scroll social media and see pundits defending their frustration. The narrative has flipped. It's no longer, "Why bench Gabriel?" It's, "Why hasn't it happened yet?" The longer Stefanski waits, the more isolated he becomes. Analysts aren't just questioning his play calling anymore. They're questioning his leadership. And in the NFL, that's how coaches fall. When Johnny Manziel speaks about the Cleveland Browns, people listen. Not because he's always right, but because he's been there. He knows what dysfunction looks like inside that organization. And this week, he didn't hold back. Manziel, the former Browns quarterback and first-round pick, went off during a recent podcast appearance, saying what many players in that locker room are too afraid to admit publicly. His message was blunt. Enough is enough. Start Shedeur Sanders now. You could hear the frustration in his tone. Manziel made it clear that Kevin Stefanski's loyalty to Gabriel has crossed from patience into delusion. He described the situation as a coach trying to save face instead of saving the season. According to Manziel, the Browns have already lost too many winnable games because of poor quarterback decisions and an outdated offensive mindset. And he didn't stop there. Manziel went directly at Stefanski's credibility, saying, "You can't keep telling players to trust the process when the process keeps failing." That line hit social media like wildfire. Within hours, sections echoing one sentiment: Johnny's right. But what really made waves was when Manziel compared Shedeur Sanders' poise to what he called a young Joe Burrow energy. He praised Sanders for staying composed, being a student of the game, and not letting outside noise dictate his mindset. To Johnny, Shedeur isn't just ready. He's the spark the Browns desperately need. This wasn't some washed-up ex-player chasing headlines. This was a man who knows what it's like to play under Cleveland's intense spotlight, calling out a system he believes is broken. Insiders say Manziel's comments hit close to home inside the organization. Players reportedly nodded in agreement when the clip hit their feeds. One veteran even told a local reporter anonymously. He said what we've all been thinking. Whether the front office admits it or not, Johnny Manziel's outburst turned up the pressure. A locker room's fed up, the fans are united, and the media's already moved on from if to when. The call for Shedeur Sanders to start isn't a debate anymore. It's a demand. Every story has a breaking point. And for Gabriel, this might be his. Coming into the Patriots game, Gabriel still had believers. There were fans who said, "Give him one more shot. Let him prove he belongs." But what unfolded that Sunday night shattered whatever confidence remained. It started fine. A few quick completions, good tempo, a glimpse of rhythm. But then came the pressure. The same mistakes, the same panic. A forced throw deep downfield to Jerry Jeudy, with a defender closing in. The ball hung in the air too long, intercepted easily. The stadium went silent. In that moment, you could feel it. Something inside Gabriel cracked. From there, everything spiraled. His timing fell apart. His reads slowed. Two more near picks that should have sealed the game for the Patriots. And by the time the fourth quarter hit, even his teammates looked defeated. Receivers were shaking their heads. Offensive linemen were staring at the ground. Analysts later said that this wasn't just a bad game. It was a collapse in confidence. One insider described Gabriel as playing scared, afraid to make a mistake, but making mistakes anyway. That fear has become visible in every throw, every hesitation, every sideline glance toward Coach Stefanski. After the game, cameras caught something that said it all. Gabriel sitting alone on the bench, helmet off, staring at the turf while the rest of the team huddled up. No coaches, no teammates, just silence. And here's the thing. Players noticed that. Sources say the locker room energy after the loss was tense, almost awkward. Guys weren't yelling. They were quiet, disappointed, exhausted. Not just from losing, but from watching the same pattern repeat again and again. Even the veterans, Njoku, Jeudy, Tillman, have reached their limit. They're not angry anymore, they're just done. For Gabriel, this may not just be another rough outing. it might be the game that defines his Browns career. Because once you lose the locker room, the fans, and the trust of your coach, there's no coming back. Kevin Stefanski can feel it. The clock is ticking, and every second echoes louder than the last. What started as whispers about his coaching decisions has now turned into a full-blown countdown to his possible exit. Inside the Browns facility, people aren't asking if change is coming anymore. They're asking when. Stefanski's stubborn loyalty to Dillon Gabriel has become the centerpiece of his downfall. Even as the team continues to spiral, he stands firm, refusing to admit the obvious. He believes sticking with Gabriel shows strength and conviction. But to everyone else, it looks like denial. A desperate attempt to protect a decision that's already sinking the season. According to multiple insiders, Stefanski's relationship with several key players has started to fracture. The frustration isn't loud, it's silent. The kind of silence that fills a locker room after another loss. The kind of silence that says, "We've stopped believing." And that's the most dangerous place for any NFL coach to be. Players talk. They see the missed throws, the wasted drives, the lost momentum. They see Shedeur Sanders on the sidelines, helmet in hand, ready, and they wonder why he's not on the field. That question lingers longer with each defeat. Even executives have reportedly started evaluating options, code for deciding how much longer they can defend their head coach publicly. One source close to the organization said bluntly, if they lose one more like this, ownership steps in. Stefanski's problem isn't just losing games. It's losing the room, the trust, the energy. The players who used to rally around him now look detached. And when that happens, no play can save you. Cam Newton called it a ticking time bomb, and he wasn't wrong. The Browns are running out of time to fix this. Because every snap Gabriel takes while Shedeur sits on the bench isn't just another play. It's another second off Stefanski's clock. Every team faces a moment where the truth can't be ignored anymore. A breaking point that forces a decision. For the Cleveland Browns, that moment is now. The cracks are no longer hidden. The locker room is divided. The fan base is restless. And the season that once held promise now feels like it's hanging by a thread. Players who used to echo Coach Stefanski's words now glance at each other in silence. Even veterans like Myles Garrett, usually a pillar of composure, are starting to speak out. That tells you everything you need to know. It's not just about football anymore. It's about leadership, accountability, and trust. The players believe Shedeur Sanders represents something fresh, a spark this team desperately need. He's young, hungry, and fearless. You can feel the energy shift every time his name trends online. Fans aren't just asking for change, they're demanding it. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel's story feels like one of frustration and missed potential. He's not the villain, just a player who never quite found his rhythm in a system that didn't fit him. But in the NFL, timing is everything. And right now, his time might be running out faster than anyone expected. As for Kevin Stefanski, this is more than just another midseason slump. This is his defining moment. His decisions from here on out will determine whether he salvages his reputation or becomes another cautionary tale in Cleveland's long history of what could have been. The calls for Shedeur to start are growing louder, not from fans on social media, but from inside his own team. The truth? The Browns don't just need a quarterback change. They need belief. And sometimes, belief begins the moment you take a risk. The moment you stop defending what's broken and start betting on what could change everything. Because if Stefanski doesn't make that move soon, the turning point won't save him. It'll replace him.